Well, another exciting Daytona Supercross is in the books, all part of Bike Week. On 500,000 motorcyclists here, and a whole bunch of them were inside Daytona International Speedway as we review Monster Energy AMA Supercross and the SuperMotocross World Championship. Welcome to your SMX Insider post-race show from Daytona. Jason Wygant joined by the men top two all-time wins in this sport, James Stewart and Ricky Carmichael. We'll talk about the superstars of today in just a moment, but Ricky Carmichael, you have a hand in developing and building this track, and then we had a lot of rain. How do you think that affected the proceedings tonight? Because this was treacherous.
It was soft before the rain came, and then the rain came, made it even worse. So there's not a whole lot that you have to do, James, you know, to make this track any rougher than it's already going to naturally get. And the riders had their hands full tonight, that's for sure.
Yeah, they did. That track was – it's been a while since I've seen kind of what Six Time said. Like, it was an old-school feel of the Daytona, and in a way I haven't seen for years. I mean, Daytona always gets difficult and rough, but these guys are just struggling hitting the doubles tonight.
Let's give you the highlights of the Daytona Supercross here for 2024 in the 450 class. So Eli Tomac comes in off his best race of the season a week ago. And, of course, the all-time winningest rider at this racetrack. So it looked like it was go time for Eli. We go into the 450 Supercross main event, and huge drama for the 18 of Jet Lawrence, Ricky.
Yeah, this was unbelievable. And just to think how Jet Lawrence was able to manage this and still come off the gate, what, top 5, James? That's pretty incredible, because that is a massive distraction and can cause a lot of angst.
Yeah, I mean, you could tell he didn't know. He clicked that bike in gear, and he's looking, whoa, what's going on? But just to regroup and focus, he actually got to that first corner up front, pretty much in the lead. Just ran a little bit wide, and but still, nice recovery by the kid.
Could have been a disaster. Instead, it's Chase Sexton in the lead. Here's Eli Tomac challenging, and this is a great duel early on.
Yeah, those guys are kind of going back and forth, and it seemed like if Eli might have been able to get around Chase, maybe the race would have been different, but now he had other plans. He struggled, and then next thing you know, Jet Lawrence got around Eli Tomac, and then he wasn't done, Jason. He saw that BOGO special going on, that 2-for-1, and he made his way around the number 1 of Chase Sexton, and he was gone.
I wonder if, I bet Sexton didn't even know that that was Jet Lawrence, because the last thing I believe that he thought was that Eli Tomac was behind him, and boom, to your point, BOGO special, little 2-for action.
Big crash for Aaron Plessinger.
I'm going to tell you right now, that was a quick dismount by Aaron Plessinger, and that's a 10 out of a 10, being able to step through the bars with that short of notice.
Well, the Olympics this year. The Olympics are coming up this year.
Track almost catches Lawrence late, gets back on, and then over jumps the finish line jump for good measure. And then this is late. Tomac back after Sexton, James.
Yeah, and no, this ain't the first lap again. These guys went at it the whole race, but yeah, it was difficult. Eli was able to make the pass on him, but by that time, that number 18, he was long gone.
Way to Eli, stick with it, get around the one there.
And there it is. Jet Lawrence starts behind two of the big names in the game, passes them, and wins Daytona big. And then you get to celebrate a sigh of relief for the entire Honda crew, who almost blew it with that wheel change off the start, and there is the celebration.
Yeah, the only one that could attack Jet Lawrence was the tire, and these guys right here.
I thought we were going to have some backs.
They still might be down there.
They might be. Maybe they could cut the goggle in half, say, here, let's have it.
So there it is, Sexton third, Tomac flanking Lawrence in second. Cooper Webb, not the start he wanted, not the early laps he wanted. He does come back for fourth.
Notable, Benny Bloss, great job on that beta here at Daytona, one of the toughest Supercross tracks on the circuit, and Malcolm Stewart and Justin Cooper, those are the notables for me.
Good solid rides there. Nice to see Adam Cianciarulo back. He's never been able to race Daytona in the 450 class. He grew up 10 minutes from here. He comes back from injury and ends up in 12th. That's your full field. Hunter Lawrence was down and out early. Justin Hill also did not finish. Let's give you the 450 season standings brought to you by Monster Energy. It's still only a 10-point lead for Jet Lawrence, so it seems like everything's rolling his way, but James, there's still a lot can happen.
Yeah, no, it's a lot. I mean, this series is still wide open. I mean, Eli Tomac is still 16 points back, but I think really the mindset was the biggest blow tonight. You know, that's the biggest points value or gain Jet Lawrence was able to accomplish with that. So, yeah, great night for him, but yeah, Eli's still right there. So is Chase Sexton and Cooper Webb.
Yes, but for Lawrence to pass those guys and win, yes, definitely got to weigh heavy on the mind. but no one had heavier thoughts than Jet Lawrence's mechanic with that wheel swap that almost ended the race for him before it started. Will Christian has Jet's mechanic.
Thank you, Jason. And wow, what a start that was to the 450 main. Before we'd even got a gate drop, there was drama. I'm with Christian Deschamps now, who is the mechanic to Jet Lawrence, and the man who saved all that from going really wrong. Christian, we've got some B-roll of what happened there. So just talk me through it from your perspective.
We went out for a sight lap on a different wheel, and then we did a wheel change after a sight lap to go onto the mesh with a nice dry tire. And the wheel change, obviously the conditions, this and that, didn't quite go as we would have hoped. And then we went we're on the mesh. We missed the whole shot button a few times, and it's quite a tight turnaround. Then came time to do the tire wrap, and about 5 seconds left, and then the board went sideways, and revs came up, and last couple seconds just ripped the tire cover off just in time for him to get out. And luckily the bike stayed aligned, and we got a good start. So it was pretty hectic on my side for the start of the main, and I'm sure him, you know, looking back and seeing that still things on his motorcycle that are being worked on. So for him to keep his composure and get that start is pretty miraculous. And then yeah, I don't really remember much of that beginning because my heart rate was probably about 200, but it's just calmed down now. So
I mean, what could have gone wrong? What would have been? Sometimes there's no point in what talking about would have been, but that was so incredibly close. What would have happened had you been a second off there?
I mean, he would have taken off, and the tire cover could have been half off, could have tangled in the rotor sprocket, you know, lodged the wheel, so it could have been pretty bad.
Now, what did the team say? So that all happens. Your heart rate's 200, as you said. What does everybody say? Has Jet said anything to you, or any of the team said anything to you?
Not really. It was kind of just like, well, that was close. Like, pretty stressful. Yeah, I'm aware. I was pretty stressed and pretty close. Yeah, kind of the same feeling all the way across the board.
But Christian, you got a smile on your face because despite all of that drama in there, you guys have got yourself a Daytona win. How does that feel?
Feels incredible. Any win is special, but I think Daytona win is always, especially in these conditions. It was a treacherous track. It's pretty special.
Fair to say it's definitely at least part in thanks to you. So thanks for talking us through it all.
No worries. Thank you, guys.
250 class highlights from Daytona 2024. Now Hayden Deegan winning the last race of the championship a week ago in Texas. Cameron McAdoo getting himself back in the title fight because he was on the podium last week, but it is the privateer, the firepower Honda Max Anstey, who leads the points coming into this one, and he's very good in these conditions. However, not a good start for Anstey, although they tried. They even tried, similar to Jet Lawrence, the wheel swap. It's a bit of a fresh, clean, dry tire off the gate, but it didn't work because he's not going to get a good start here. It is actually going to be Seth Hammaker, Cameron McAdoo, the Kawasaki's up front, and Deegan fighting them for it.
Yeah, great start, and Cameron was one of the only guys not to actually go out for the sight light, so it seems like it worked well for him and another guy, Tom Vial. But yeah, Hayden Deegan had a rough day. Thanks for going back and forth with him. He's able to get up and make a pass on Cameron, but didn't last that long, Ricky.
Well, and even Will talked to his father, Brian Deegan, said, he's just not the same kid today. And you know what? You're going to have that. You're going to have that throughout your career, but he still did well overall for not feeling well. He's had a rough day, too. That was a tough crash he took qualifying practice.
And a little mistake there with the stall. That allows Hammaker to get back by him.
Great run by Hammaker in that main event.
Look at McAdoo here. Catches that rhythm lane wrong, goes off the track, and look who sneaks by. Watch that number 16 of Tom Vial who's rallying.
One thing about Vial, we didn't talk much about it, I don't feel like, but he was so precise all night long, really extremely smooth. Not that, I mean, he's always a smooth rider. Wow.
That's all time right here.
What do you think of that, dude?
That was precise. A precise 360 and let it happen. Just a recovery. That kid's always thinking forward, just spin it around. But the guy tonight was Tom Vial for his career.
That's it. Supercross winner now, the two-time World Motocross champion coming out of Europe, Tom Vial. Probably not enough talk about him as a potential title contender. There's his parents, sigh of relief for mom, and the celebratory trademark of Daytona getting to do the burnout with the fans. And Vial, despite being part of that vicious first-turn crash, the season opener, is firmly in this championship fight, especially if he can carry this momentum, confidence, getting that first win. The two Kawasaki riders, McAdoo and Hammaker, with him on the podium. Deegan recovers for fourth over Pierce Brown, who's had fifth in all three races so far this year. Cody Schock has been great this year in in every single round. And Jalek Swoll, he was sore and beat up from last week, but puts the triumph in the top 10 with a 7th. And Max Ansky's going to hold on to the points lead. He dug deep, RC.
Well, he did, and he's going to come out of here still with the points lead, surprisingly, even finishing 8th. And I think that consistency is going to be the key here. Because before you know it, their season's going to be over. These races are going to click by really fast here the next 3 weeks.
Yeah, we only race half of the year of East, and the other half is West. So it's half the amount of races of our 450 division. There's your full field from Daytona, and this is unbelievable, these point standings.
Look how tight that is. I mean, from 7th on up to 1st, only 8-point spread. Man, it's close. It's like musical chairs, and I love watching it. These younger riders, they're bringing it each and every week, and I still think, JS, that at the end of the day, the guy who is able to be the most consistent is going to win this championship.
Yeah, so what do you think?
No,
James?
I agree. And, you know, I still think you're waiting for, I would say, probably Hayden to kind of step up. But, I mean, Tom Vial, that ride tonight, we don't know what this win can do for him moving forward. This track was difficult. I feel like even when you look at Tom, he was happy, but he was probably still in the moment of just how difficult it was. He didn't realize that he probably won. But, yeah, I'm excited to see what happens next with all these guys because it's wide open out here.
Well, and too, Vial was smooth. I mean, that guy was precise. I didn't see him make it didn't really have any big moments, I didn't feel like. And to your point, you brought up a great point about what this win could potentially do for him. Remember, he is a 2-time MX2 GP champion, so the guy knows how to win championships.
Absolutely.
When you say you didn't see a lot of mistakes from him on this track, that's saying a lot because this track was breeding it all night with the conditions and how soft and rutted it was. And honestly, that might have been what decided our 450 race win. So for more on that, we send it back down to Jason Thomas.
So I'm standing in the quad section that both Chase Sexton and Eli Tomac mentioned that they were unwilling to continue jumping, and Jet Lawrence was. And that was really the difference tonight. And you'll see the depth of this rut, and that's really what talked them out of jumping it. And you heard Eli Tomac just say the risk wasn't worth it. He was unwilling to take that much risk, even if it meant winning the race. And if you look over that footage and you see Jet Lawrence continuing to jump it lap after lap, that's where he made his passes. That's also how he built up a 10-second lead. So as we move on into Birmingham, that's going to be the question. Will Eli Tomac be willing to take the risk if there's a section like this, a big quad, a rhythm section they have to put together to beat Jet Lawrence? You're going to have to be willing to take those risks week in and week out.
Monster Energy Supercross is proud to support the kids and families at St. Jude Children's Research Hospital, and our hashtag LoveMotoStopCancer text to donate campaign continues. Go to supercrosslive.com/St. Jude or text the word super to 785-833 and get our commemorative t-shirt. Such a focus on Daytona itself when we come here. Remember, this is part of the SuperMotocross World Championship, so we decided to use tonight's big event to finally announce our playoff venues for 2024 in the second ever SMX World Championship. It's amazing when fans get let loose to go to the podium at Daytona. So here it is. We're going to go back to ZMAX Dragway in Charlotte on September 7th. Then Texas Motor Speedway on September 14th. And we're finally back in Las Vegas to strip at Las Vegas Motor Speedway, where we're crowned the world champion September 21st. This is going to be really cool to see. Again, unique tracks, unique venues, RC.
Oh, 100%. And just how well the inaugural SuperMotocross World Championship went last year in the playoffs. I mean, it was just epic. The point system, how they drew that up. It's going to be extra special again this year. I think even better.
And for you, James, we saw it. The riders, I think they didn't really know this hybrid thing. I think they expected it to be glorified Supercross tracks. They all were thrown off when we first started racing in the playoffs last year.
Yeah, they're going to be thrown off like they were here tonight. You know, just throwing in. And, you know, again, last year they didn't know. Now they do know. So you're going to lose a couple sleepless nights on that. But, yeah, looking at this track.
This is Birmingham next week.
Yep. Birmingham. So this is very similar to Snapdragon Stadium in San Diego, but looking forward to a new venue James, I like this. Kind of remember, looks like old St. Louis.
2007.
Yeah,
You remember that
you guys
because you
handed
won,
it to
huh?
me on
Yeah.
a silver platter. I like the looks of this this racetrack right here. It's going to be a lot of fun, back and forth, more of your traditional Supercross track, the back and forths, and let's hope that the weather gods are going to play our game, and we'll have some great racing.
Yep, finally racing in Birmingham. We did have one Supercross race in Alabama ever, when they raced one kind of similar to Daytona at the Talladega Super Speedway, but now it's back to a traditional Supercross track, and that'll be really fun. Join us there. Yeah, that one corner there cuts across. There was some drama back there in St. Louis back in the day. Here's your manufacturer points. Yamaha has really been strong in both classes this year, so they have extended their lead over Kawasaki when we combine the points in both classes. So we mentioned that Birmingham race. We haven't been there before, but really it doesn't matter where the races are held this year, James. It's been pretty wild, but I'm thinking carrying forward that win for Vial, we know what that does for confidence. And Jet Lawrence, the way he won here, can these guys answer back? That's going to be tough.
Yeah, they don't have a choice.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they don't have a choice in that 450 class. And not only they got to answer Jet Lawrence, but even just the transition, kind of like in the playoffs, of just going from track to track. The difference from Daytona back to that Supercross next weekend in Alabama is going to be difficult for these guys. And I don't know if anybody knows how the dirt's going to be, so it's going to be a little difficult for them to prepare for it. But that's why we go racing, and I'm looking forward to it like I always is. I'll be back on the couch watching you guys do your thing, but it's going to be great.
Yeah, and it's going to be outdoors, so we never know, like I said, we never know what's going to happen there. But I will say from a points perspective in the championship in this 450 class, remember it was 7 points, or 7 positions all within 20 points. Now a couple guys have fallen out, Aaron Plessinger and Ken Roxon. I think from their championship hopes, it's going to take some massive help for those guys. So the points are starting to narrow and wind down like it always does every single year. The cream rises to the top, and it's go time.
It's kind of interesting. The top 3 from last year, which is Webb, Sexton, and Tomac, and now the addition of Jet Lawrence. They're 1, 2, 3, 4 now. Here's how you can watch our race in Birmingham. Race day live, 1:30 Eastern on Peacock, and then we're racing at 7 o'clock Eastern, again, Peacock, or the SuperMotocross Video Pass if you're outside the United States. James, we'll welcome you back to the booth when we go racing in Philadelphia. This is so cool, the way Daytona played out. We had so much anticipation coming in, and the racing did not disappoint. Tom Vial, now a race winner and title contender in the 250 class, and Jet Lawrence came, saw, and conquered in the 450 division, even though Daytona tried to throw its own tricks at him. But he got it done. Thanks for watching SuperMotocross Insider post-race show from Daytona.